on Instagram.
Nice. All right, we'll give everyone like a little minute to pop in here. As they're tuning in, I'm here with Shelly. Shelly, what's going on?
Not a whole bunch,
Not a whole bunch?
just here podcasting with you or live streaming. Nick, I want to tell you something that I tell everybody that I do live events with. First of all, I want to thank you for your service because I know that you are part of our military, and I am a military mom. So
get out of here. All right.
I am. My son is almost 7 years in the service, and right now he is in Lithuania. So I just want to let you know, if he calls, Mama answers. No matter what Mama is doing, he answers the phone.
What branch of service is he in?
He's in the Army. He's a taker.
How'd you like it?
7 years in, he loves it, but he's ready. He's getting his master's in criminal justice. So this January, he'll be done, and he'll be coming back home.
No hair for him?
No hair for him. I would love it. I mean, he's a handsome guy, so he would kill it, but no.
You're getting the hair, by the way. How'd you get into clean products? So everyone listening right now, Shelly, clean products, thinning hair expert, right? Specializing in hair. But clean products is how we really connected in terms of wanting to do this podcast, because I feel like there's so many clean products out there that just are not truly clean. And I could be wrong with that. But for the most part, when I'm watching these different Instagrammers and TikTokers and they're speaking about the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients they speak about are kind of hidden. They have these little hidden names that they tuck away in the ingredient list. So I just want to kind of like speak about like how'd you get into the clean products? And I know it's something you're really focused on, especially in your salon.
Well, I got into clean products just because of the way that I was raised. So I was raised in a home that I would say is kind of crunchy now, but I'm 46. So 46 years ago, when my mom was raising me and cleaning the floors with vinegar, that really wasn't as popular of a thing as it is now. So it was kind of always like ingrained inside me. My first experience with hair care products was going to, oh my God, I'm going to forget what it is, like a farmer's market, but it's not a farmer's market. It's like a co-op.
Okay.
A co-op. And I got like cases of hairspray. So when I would spray the shit out of my bangs and crunch them, so I had that big old, flop over. So that was all natural based products at the time. I use InnerSense, and InnerSense used to have brown packaging. I mean, we're going back like.
Yeah, I remember InnerSense.
Yes. So that is kind of where this all came from. And I really incorporated, a more natural, organic, clean lifestyle into my personal life, but not my professional life. I did go to the Aveda Institute in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the home base of Aveda. I did graduate. So it was kind of along with my journey, but it wasn't like the main focus. And it wasn't until I had my daughter and she had some food allergies and some other things going on that it made me look again further into my lifestyle and the beauty industry then. So I was a commissioned stylist for 17 years and actually 20 years, but 17 years at a salon. And I loved my experience there, but I just wasn't in the environment that I thought that I could thrive long-term with.
Yeah. But there's a lot of sick stylists out there, like from inhaling bleach to touching chemicals without gloves on. And like, it's toxic, some of the stuff out there.
So and that's one of the things that we're not really taught. We're taught about performance, and performance is key. It's a key in our industry, but that's all that we look at that matters is performance. So if it's working, we don't really care about the ingredients. So one of the things that came to me was like really just like hit me like a ton of bricks. And that is performance is really an opinion. So ingredients are a fact. And we really get those crossed and confused. So when I talk about clean products, like if I talk about your favorite hairspray, the first thing if I say, oh, your favorite hairspray has propane in it, and you're spraying that around you, and you're breathing that in for like, 7 to 10 minutes after you spray it, people are like, it's my favorite hairspray. How dare you? And I'm like, I'm not talking about the performance of your favorite hairspray. I'm talking about the chemical ingredients that are actual fact when you turn around the bottle and you read it.
There's propane in hairsprays.
It's a propellant. A propellant is a gas. So it can be butane, propane. Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, Nick.
Not like propane. I'm thinking like a barbecue grill. Like essentially that's the same kind of chemical. Wow.
Yeah. Chat it. Where's James?
I definitely believe you.
Yeah.
And then do you have your own line?
No. And I did research my own line, and I was in the process of developing it. And then, COVID happened. And that really did put a stop to the supply chain of my products. And then I was like, you know what? There's really great formulated products that I don't need to put this time and effort and money in at this point in my salon opening. So I can revisit that.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to hairspray?
So my go-to hairspray is, my go-to products are InnerSense.
Okay.
So the finishing spray from InnerSense. It's a pump. Anything pump.
Now, there's a huge issue for supply chain when it comes to like California's laws and what they're passing for all the hairsprays. Like you can't get certain ingredients now in California. They're getting banned. And I know Milkshake changed their whole formula around for a while. And then Suds was on that bandwagon, and certain brands, because from an e-commerce standpoint, like we were out of stock of everything because they were doing ingredient changes. And that happened probably like 2 years ago. It started happening. And you just couldn't get certain hairsprays anymore.
You know what?
Then,
I didn't do that.
Yeah. But another question I want to talk to you about, because we were chatting about it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Was the whole ammonia-free concept of ammonia-free hair dyes or hair colors being healthier for you or better for you, when in reality, ammonia is something your body produces naturally.
Right.
And just because you're going to an ammonia-free brand, it doesn't necessarily make it healthier for you or better for you to put on your scalp. In fact, a lot of times there's still other harsher chemicals to get that cuticle open and drive the color in. Take me a little bit through your knowledge in that, because I think you're pretty educated on that area as well.
Oh, thank you. There's a lot of nuances to hair color. And in the clean beauty world, one of the biggest things is ammonia-free hair color. So I believe the postage you're talking about is that ammonia-free doesn't mean damage-free. Yeah. So ammonia and ammonia-free products they are like ammonia, and then the MEA is what you're referring to. It's an alkali that opens the cuticle. So we need that in order to drive the color into the hair shaft. So ammonia is a gas naturally occurring, and MEA, even though it could be naturally derived, it still is a chemical-based product. And you need about 25-ish more % of MEA in hair color to make it perform more so over ammonia. And what the clean beauty artists really like, the controversy is because you can smell that ammonia, right? So like, that it's there because of the smell. So just because you can't smell MEA, and it's like, you think that it's not going to irritate you, it's still there causing damage to the hair follicle and
so
to the
MEA. And there's a big problem with fragrances too. Trying to cover up the smell of certain chemicals and color. That's what's causing the reaction as well.
Right. So the artificial fragrances.
Yeah. I know Wella, I think it was Wella, maybe Milkshake too, had an issue with that for a while.
Okay.
When it came to people getting irritated. I know they reformulated a couple different times.
So usually higher based ammonia products, you will get the smell, but lower based ammonia products don't have that pungent smell that's going to smack you in the face like, higher ammonia content products do. So even underneath the ammonia umbrella, there's still categories of hair color with higher to lower ammonia contents.
What do you use in your salon?
So we use All Nutrient in my salon, and it is an ammonia-based hair color. It is 87% organic, and then you need chemical ingredients to make hair color work. So that's 13% of the formulation. So that 13% sits in an organic base.
What kind of chemicals did you use to open the hair shaft? How's that actually work in that color line?
Oh, in that color line? It's the details of that, Nick? I don't know. It's the ammonia that opens the hair follicle. I
tried organic lines before, and they're not bad. They're good. Like Natural Leak is an organic line, or semi-organic, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's ammonia-free. I'm not sure. I would have to look it up. So the ammonia-free, not all of them, I'm going to speak in general terms here, so nobody come after me, but these lines also contain direct dyes. So they're not penetrating the cuticle. The MEA doesn't open up the cuticle as much. It doesn't penetrate as much, and you're going to see a lot more fading. And you're not going to retain as much color.
And you're not going to cover as the gray.
And it does not cover gray. That is one of the things that I will say that people have to look at when choosing any color line is your market. And in my market, in my salon, our number one selling service is a root touch-up by tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So I have to have a high-performing product that covers gray hair well, that is aligned with my salon values, and will last. So
there was a line I used in it was from Italy, and if I might mess the story up, I was supposed to get the color line in and help like invest into it, and there was a couple distributors involved, and whatever, it fell through. it was, I think in Tuscany, it got like the water they used from the mountains. They would play classical music inside the factory where they made it. It was
Yeah.
ammonia free. I don't know what they put in it. It was the best performing color I've ever used. And I got a whole bunch of like these white plain boxes, just plain tubes with just like 6N or 5N or whatever on it. And it just never got a chance to get legs. But it was by far the best color line I used. I don't know what they used in it though. That's the problem.
They
Like
use that Tuscany magic.
I don't know what they used, but it was it was like PPD free, ammonia free. It was everything free to the point where I was like, what are you putting in here for it to even work? Something we don't know about yet. Like
Maybe.
it was pretty remarkable though. So
Well, I
there are
wish you would
options
find out
out
what that
there.
is. I want to try it.
It might have just been too expensive for them to actually get it off the ground, I think, and just
Yeah.
to really make it feasible for a tube of color to make a profit for the factory, then for the manufacturer, and then to sell it to a salon.
And I'm
That
glad that
may
you
be the
brought
problem.
that product price point because clean, organic based brands are the highest on the market. So to really have an ammonia free color line in your salon is very expensive.
It is, and I feel like it doesn't have to be, and I feel like brands are almost
No.
price gouging to a certain extent. I don't know if the science has to be behind it, so they're paying someone to formulate it more. But I feel like if you're leaving products out, it should be cheaper.
Right.
You're eliminating stuff.
Well, also a lot of those, except for InnerSense, because I believe that's manufactured in the U.S., but you're also importing these products in. So some of these major brands are coming from Italy, they're coming from Australia. So you're paying for that to be imported.
Are there any brands in America that you know of
No,
right now that are
Nutrient's
clean?
manufactured in the U.S.
Which one?
All Nutrient that we use.
Okay.
And it's not expensive like, the big hitters in the clean beauty world. It's about half the cost.
Yeah, I never heard of All Nutrient before.
We got to look into them.
Them
They're great. They're great. They're science-based. So not all are they, have some clean ingredients, but they're also science-based. So they're backed by science, which
and
I
they
love.
have like retail as well, like shampoo,
They do.
conditioner, styling.
Yeah, the retail products, in my opinion, aren't as clean as an InnerSense or an OA or Arte, but they do fall underneath the clean umbrella.
Do you have any
Once again,
allergies yourself? Like, do you like now that you've been in such a clean salon for so long? Like when you use another color line or another product line, if you go to a class, like are you sensitive to it at all?
I am sensitive to it.
Yeah.
I'm really sensitive to it. I am. Like an
Like,
aerosol spray in my area will automatically flare up my asthma. My asthma has not been flared since I opened up my clean salon, which we're going on 6 years. So I have not had any problems with asthma since I left my conventional salon. And when I'm around that hairspray, you spray that propellant around me, I'm like, yes.
do you think it's getting triggered because you smell it and it's like just in your brain, you're like, I don't like this, and it's making you you wheeze up, or you physically actually are now allergic?
I physically actually feel it in here. It's because when you spray that propellant, it's all around. Like you think it's just going from here to here, but no, it's going all over. And if I walk through that stream, yeah. Especially if I go into a salon and there's like 3 or 4 people spraying the spray, you can see that fog, Yes.
I think the real killer, honestly, is texture sprays.
Yes, with the powders.
Yeah, because when you spray like Amika has like such a strong smell, and then there's another brand called AZ Oz. They had a texture spray, and if you sprayed it in the salon, like you would smell it for hours.
Yeah,
gross. It was a strong fragrance. Yeah, it would crush people.
Yeah, that's something that I would be very concerned about. Just using my critical.
We don't carry it anymore.
Yeah, good.
But they were fragrance heavy.
There are pumps. There are non-aerosol texture sprays that work beautifully. Hair Story has powder. OA has a dry shampoo spray too. You can go on in Google search, and get a little puffer. You can put it in a little, open it up and put it in
for texture. Yeah, for the powders.
For the powder. Yeah.
What do you use for your curls?
For my curls, I use OA curly. It's like the curl potion from OA.
Because I feel like chemicals and curls don't really mix well either.
No.
You dry them out.
No, it's really the silicones. You want silicone-free products.
You do. So why aren't you going to start your own product line? I think you have a good amount of knowledge now. I know you said money-wise, but or at least work with somebody. Would you be interested in that? Like being a part of the team?
I have. And I'm telling you, I've researched these companies when it comes to creating your own product line, because you have the white label with like an actual like laboratory that'll formulate for you or take another product. So like if I loved the OA, curl potion that I use in my hair. I could take this product, I can give it to them, and they can try to reformulate it and put it underneath my name, like my brand. I've researched the shit out of this. And then also too, I can just go to a lab and they'll formulate for me. So what I'm learning about my business is that we don't sell a lot of retail. So in order for me to like formulate and create my first product, like which would probably be a scalp oil or, something of that nature, some styling product, it wouldn't be a shampoo or conditioner. I need like 10,000 SKUs. So then so there's some of the logistics of it, like where I'm going to store fucking 10,000 products at. And then also like the money to do that. And then we don't sell a ton of retail in my salon.
You need to go e-commerce and you have to create
Nick, you know what I want to do? I'm going to open up a brick and mortar. I don't want to do e-commerce. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in the clean beauty world, when we clean beauty lovers go to we don't have anywhere to go to try these products, to look at them, to smell them, to have the full, buying experience, even when it comes to makeup. So I cannot tell you how many times I've ordered foundation just from picking the color from what they have and getting it. I actually have one on right now that I had to blend the shit up because it was so white underneath my eyes. I don't get that full experience. Ulta, Sephora,
or Ulta.
Ulta, Sephora will I feel like my asthma's flaring. I go in there, I smell all those perfumes and those chemicals. I literally will turn around and leave. Well, we do not go there. So I don't have a place to go to physically try and see these products. So that's why I want to open up a brick and mortar.
That's a good idea.
It's on my list.
Where would you want to open it up?
I'll take an investor. So you want to invest? We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Anyone who wants to invest in a clean brick and mortar, like a clean version of Sephora. The clean products, it's getting to be a bigger space now. I think the time when people jumped into it a couple of years ago was a little premature.
Yeah.
And I think right now is the time to kind of jump into it. Because I feel like the knowledge is out there.
The years before were the industry pioneers, like myself. So right now I'm leading the way. I have Clean Beauty Boutique, which is my salon, which I'm in the south suburbs of Chicago, and we pull from 45 minutes to an hour within my area. We pull. And then also I created Clean Beauty Pro, which is there to support the new emerging clean beauty artists. So I get both. So Clean Beauty Pro.
Yeah.
So Clean Beauty Pro is it's a passion project, I would say. So it first started, more to help people market their clean beauty brands, like the correct terminology. And my marketing manager and I, launched it together. But now it's just kind of evolved into an informational platform. So really, what are these ingredients? What are they doing? How do they affect us? Hazards, 1 in 5 stylists will basically have, I've just lost my train of thought, but just statistics and things.
I have 2 girls who can't touch hair color that do color in my salon.
Right.
They physically can't touch it because they'll break out in rashes and hives. So they have to wear gloves on everything they do.
Well, wearing gloves is your first line of protection. And that was one of the posts that I made, was put on a fucking pair of gloves.
I saw that.
Yes. And it's your first line of protection. And every stylist can do that. And
my sister does hair. She has a salon in her basement, and she'll do a full-blown Brazilian blowout, and she'll do it without gloves on. And she wears gloves now, but she'll do it no ventilation. Mm-hmm. She'll do 2, 3 back to back, and she wondered why she has a headache. But her hands, one day, I came over her house. I was like, "What happened to your hands?" And she did 2 back to back Brazilian blowouts, and the skin, it looked like, remember you're a kid and you put glue on your hands and you peel it off? Yeah. It was almost flaking her skin off like that. It was wild. She wears gloves now.
So when you look at that chemical damage that's doing to your body, that's just what we can see physically, but there's also the effects that are happening internally that we won't see for, long term. And that, I hope your sister, I would encourage her to look for alternatives, because there are alternatives out there that are hard performing. And I would ask you to tell her about Purolux and have her look into Purolux.
Purolux as a keratin smoothing treatment?
It's not a keratin treatment. It's amino acid base, and it works a little bit differently. Okay. And it is extension safe, formulated in a Beverly Hills salon, non-toxic, and it works a little bit differently. It applies differently, but
color.
It's not going to make it. It can, of course, you're putting flat iron over hair. You can burn that color off, but you're supposed to do it before a color service, and then you can color the hair afterwards.
There's been a few I've used, and it wrecks the color.
Oh no, it's not going to wreck a color.
Oh, it was 3-4 shades.
No.
It was brutal.
No, it's not going to wreck a color, but you're heating somebody's hair.
Yeah, that's and then a lot of times they were like 40 pat, not 40, like 15 to 20 passes with the iron. What brand was it? I think Magic Sleek was one of them. Uberless, one of those brands back in the day. Because I wanted to switch over from keratin a while ago, like the formaldehyde. I didn't want it in my salon. I just couldn't find one to perform. That was the issue. Yeah,
Relax. It's made with organic based ingredients, and we've had success with it in the salon. It's pricey, so it comes with a price tag. But
I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, you can't put a price tag on your health,
right?
Like everyone's like that's one thing you can't buy back once it goes.
Correct.
So, yeah,
you can't buy it back. So wear your gloves.
Yeah, and then there's like I think formaldehyde might be getting banned. Did you hear anything about that yet?
You know what? I have heard some things about it, but taking a deep dive into what this means and the impact in our industry, that isn't something that I've done yet.
It's gone. Like you can't use it in Europe anymore. There's a lot of countries that you can't use formaldehyde. Japan's one of them. Well, almost all of Asia.
So a lot of that. We gotta look at that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't understand, especially the younger stylists out there, because they are so young. And they're like, oh, it's not going to affect me. And then you talk to stylists who are older, they want nothing to do with certain brands, like certain chemicals in the brands, and it does really leave an impact on your lungs and your well-being.
So I think it also depends on the individual stylist as well, because all my stylists are young, so they're coming to me because I have a clean beauty brand, because I believe in sustainability. It's not just, it's a whole mission. So they have to be mission driven, and
So take us through real quick. If there's a stylist listening right now, she's like, you know what? Clean is where I want to bring my salon to. I have a hard time wrapping my head around. I don't know if my girls will appreciate it. I don't know if they're going to be on board with this. It's her whole entire life. Like her DNA is clean, her refrigerator, her food she eats. The only thing is not her salon. And so she wants to bring that into her life. Take us through, like, from day one, I made that decision, to like where you are now. What advice would you give her?
Well, I would start by defining what your non-negotiables are and the most important things to you when it comes to clean. So you have to research ingredients and find out what you can't, I can't use oxidative dye and not have chemicals. So I would separate your business into, the categories of the actual physical salon location and the products that you use to like clean, sanitize, things of that nature, your actual styling products, and then your hair color. So those three. And then I would just start defining like what is important to you, what is a non-negotiable. And then I would go from there. And you need to do your research. Like I can tell you what I did, but that's what I did. And I like people to discover that for themselves. Like I did, like use chat, Google it, find out, really. And when it comes to the clean beauty umbrella, there really is no definition. So a lot of clean brands that say that they're clean are sustainable. So you really have to be like, are you sustainable focused? Are you ingredient focused? So when I opened my salon, I was really ingredient focused. The ingredients were the most important thing to me. And the sustainability came, after.
And then one of my clients was a Kevin Murphy salon. She just dropped it because she scanned a lot of their, I think she might have used the Yuka app, one of the apps on there. And she was just scanning the ingredients, and it was like the whole catalog, I guess, was more sustainable focused and really.
And they consider themselves to be more of a clean brand, and they consider themselves to be sustainable, which we can do another podcast on my feeling towards Kevin Murphy and their sustainability.
Yeah, let's talk about it now. Fuck it. I think Kevin Murphy smells great. But I don't really align with the brand because I don't think they truly support us as stylists. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
But you could give me your opinion on them.
Well, I just feel like when you're so gung-ho on sustainability and then you're packing your products in plastic is a big, huge red flag to me. Huge.
What else would they package them with? Glass
or even metal, like
aluminum or stainless steel or something like that.
Yes, you can find alternatives. So if you're very much into this, where is that effort in finding alternatives to packaging? Because they are out there. They are out there because brands are doing it. And I know the logistics of it because they have the machines that fill up the bottles and whatever. There's a whole bunch to it. But didn't you raise your prices so you can pull plastic from the ocean, and then you retracted that? So where's that money? Shouldn't that go into, your manufacturing?
Oh, they did that.
They did.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. So they raised their prices to pull plastic from the ocean
that they couldn't the ocean plastics, and they had to
And
retract that.
then to recycle that plastic to use for their packaging?
Yes, but then they
Okay.
couldn't do it. There was the last time I looked, which was a few years ago, so this is, to the best of my knowledge, there was a statement on their website that explained that.
Why?
And also too with Kevin Murphy, and not just Kevin Murphy, but any brand that says that they're sustainable, you have to follow the whole life of that product. So when you manufacture it and you send it to the distributor, if the distributor is going to ship it to me in plastic, that goes against, some sustainability. So and then also too, where's the recycling? Where can we send those Kevin Murphy products back to have them recycled? Like we got to take responsibility for the full life of the product. And not just
really in. Yeah, I think honestly, they tried to do this with one of the L'Oreal products. It was like your back bar was like mounted to the wall, and your clients would have to bring their bottles back and refill them. It was like it was a pretty cool idea. I just don't think it ever took off. I think it was too hard to do, but there's definitely ways to do it out there. And I think that was a couple of years ago, so I think we're a little more focused on that now.
Right.
But
yeah,
it's a difficult hill to climb for a brand because I think things are so expensive, and that's the last of their focus.
Right.
Truly is sustainability. So it on paper it looks great, and then once they try and actually finance this whole entire operation.
Right. I appreciate the effort because I know that they do, they put like $1 towards every can of like this one particular hairspray towards, planting, forests and things. So it's a good effort, but we got to take a look and really take a zoom out and be like, how can we do this differently?
Kuhn is a really good brand when it comes to sustainability. Have you ever used Kuhn? Heard of Kuhn?
I've heard of
They're out
Kuhn.
of Holland or Amsterdam. They actually started the first perm, believe it or not, out of like a pharmacy store back in the day, on like early 1900s, maybe even before then. And they have a huge push right now for sustainability globally because they're in every continent. They're not that big in America, but they're huge everywhere else. If you're looking for a good brand, Kuhn's one of the top.
I've looked into Kuhn. I've tried
it.
It was when I was first developing my brand and using all the products. I just find that all Nutria performs better for me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they just got certified as a B Corp.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need more B Corp certified business.
What other brands are out there that are B Corp that you've researched?
Well, Inner Senses. I would have to look. That's what chat's for. I would just look it up.
I love ChatGPT.
I do too. It's made me kind of not have to retain information too, because I know I could just go there and grab it.
Oh, I just like on the way to work, what I'll do is have a conversation with it. Literally just speak into my phone as I'm driving. Then when I get like 5 minutes away, I'll be like, hey, take my thoughts and please organize my thoughts in a detailed outline so I can take action on them. Yes. And then create me a schedule from my easiest to conquer idea to like the last one. And then I get to my salon, open my computer, and it's all set, ready for me to go.
That's why I started doing that too, because you shared that one of our.
Oh yeah, it was one of the coaching calls.
Yeah, so I'm like, I started doing that too. And, I want to just circle back to sustainability. I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial. When it comes to sustainability, it's really a consumption. It's a consumer problem also, because the more we consume, the more manufacturers will produce. So I know that we're in the beauty industry and we want our clients to consume because that's how we make our money. But that's really the problem, is the consumption. We have to change our spending, and then consumers, as consumers, and then manufacturers have to change their manufacturing.
Yeah, and like drive funds to companies who are doing the right thing. Right. Is what you're saying? Yeah, 100%. All right, so if anyone wanted to find you and learn more about Clean Beauty, whether they're a stylist or a client or somebody, because you have your Clean Beauty Pro, right?
Yeah, Clean Beauty Pro for stylists. You can reach out to me at Clean Beauty Pro. I had a website. I don't know if it's still linked. It's there. I have a website if you want to, submit a form, but just DM me. That's the easiest way. Just DM me on Clean Beauty Pro.
What's your handle on Instagram? Let everybody know.
For my personal one, it's at Shelly, SHELIDODARO Hernandez, HERNANDEZ.
And the Clean Beauty one, is that a handle
and
too?
My salon is at you have to add the word Clean Beauty Boutique. That's my salon. And we're in the south suburbs of Chicago.
Awesome, Shelly. Well, it was great chatting with you.
Yes, Nick. Yeah. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. I love the whole clean beauty direction that you're bringing your salon to, 100%, and you're dedicated to it. So I think that's really interesting. And I think a lot of people should, or a lot of people want to follow suit, but I think they're scared. And
Well,
so
if you're
it's
scared, reach out
100%
to me. I'll
possible.
create a plan with you, and then we'll clean up your products, Nick, or you can invest in my brick and mortar, and we'll kill it.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yes.
We're gonna start with Chicago, then we're going to New York, then we're going to Miami.
Yeah.
Sounds like a deal.
Yeah, I'm taking over.
Do it. I like the idea. Like, but ever hear of Lush before we get off?
Yeah. Lush is not
clean. No, but Lush is like has that. I'm not saying it's a clean beauty product, but I'm saying they have their. I don't go there. I seen them in the malls, like, and they have their little boutique type thing with whatever the hell they have going on in there, and then you bring your containers back, and then you fill them up. I thought that's what you do in that place.
It's been okay. So once again, it's been years because once I've looked into a brand, I'm like, oh, okay, and then I move on. So let's look at the ingredients. You look at the ingredients. That's what I would say. And that's great for a sustainable point to like bring back their jars. That's amazing. But you also have to.
So if you want more information on clean beauty, hit Shelly up. She has a lot of information. She did the homework already. Shelly, thank you so much. And if you're hopping on the call at 1 o'clock, I'll see you at 1. If not, I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
All right, guys.